Hello my friends, so I'm doing a video response to a video called Testimony of the Occult.
Yasmeen Suri became a U.S. citizen in 2008. Since then, the Department of Homeland Security invites her to sing at their events. Yasmeen was born in India to a Sikh family. They moved to America when she was a child. She didn't speak English, and unfortunately, because of her ethnicity, she was the brunt of cruel jokes from the other children.
Little kids can be so mean sometimes. They don't accept others for the differences that they have. And, you know, usually most kids grow out of that. At least most kids do.
I felt a sense of loss of control of my life, and I wanted to have control of my life. So I thought the more that I could get spiritual experience, the more I would be able to control my environment, and the more I would be able to control people.
You know, this is one thing that always pops up in a lot of these videos when they're talking about people who used to be in witchcraft or the occult or whatever it is. They always talk about the individual or the person wanted control. They wanted to be able to control and manipulate people. And I know I've said this in videos before, but if your whole goal to get into witchcraft is to be able to control and manipulate people to do your will, I have some bad news for you. You're going to be disappointed. It's just the way it is. You are not going to be able to wiggle your nose and make people succumb to your will. It unfortunately just doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work for me that way. Maybe it works for somebody else that way. But if that's why you're into witchcraft, you're going to be disappointed.
So I started getting into horoscopes. I started studying about psychics and witchcraft. I would begin to have demons, which I didn't know there were demons at the time, reveal themselves to me on a continual basis. And they would just speak to my spirit that I had been born for a purpose, and that purpose would be fulfilled.
As an adult, Yasmeen was engrossed in the occult.
Maybe she got into the occult, and maybe she found out later on it wasn't for her.
The experiences that I would have is I wouldn't be satisfied. It would just leave me just more empty. It didn't give me an answer. It gave me power and a sense of control, but there was no answer for me.
Again, I think that if you are looking to have power and control over external forces, you are going to be disappointed. You may, however, learn how to have power and control over yourself.
She met a man who was involved in the occult. He took her deeper into witchcraft.
I moved in with him, and we had quite an intense connection when it came to spirit and having the occult draw us together. In our house, we would have crystals, huge pictures of Ramses and Pharaoh all over.
When her birthday rolled around, she asked a friend for a Shirley MacLaine book.
A Shirley MacLaine book? I understand Shirley MacLaine is into astrology and stuff like that, but I wouldn't associate her with witchcraft and the occult.
Her friend was a Christian.
So she gave me my present, and I opened it up, and it happened to be a Bible.
You are one of the best friends. So, did you get me my gift that I wanted? The Bible? What the?
So I said, oh, where's my book? And she said, well, I wanted to show you something in the Bible. And she opened it up to Deuteronomy chapter 18.
Let's see, Deuteronomy. 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 Deuter. Oh man, I don't know how to read this freaking thing. All right, let me see. Deuteronomy. Where the hell is Deuteronomy?
Verse 9 through 14. And God says that those that consult with familiar spirits or wizard or enchanters or those that practice necromancy and a whole list of things, he said that those things are an abomination to God. And those scriptures jumped out at me from the Bible, and they jumped off the pages, and they actually went right through my spirit. And I was convicted of sin for the first time in my life.
Yeah, if you're a Christian, then if that's what you believe and that's what you follow, then that's what you should stay away from. You should not consult familiar spirits. But this is what the Christians believe, and that's fine with them. But if you are truly a witch and an occultist, and you don't follow Christianity, then there's nothing wrong with consulting familiar or unfamiliar spirits or sorcerers or anything like that. Only if you are a Christian does that really apply to you.
It seemed to Yasmeen that everywhere she went, she met Christians.
Yeah, that's a sign. You can't walk down the street without bumping into a Christian. But the truth of the matter is, unless they're wearing a cross around their neck, you can't really tell that they're a Christian. But I'm sure I walk down the street and I pass hundreds and hundreds of Christians every day. It doesn't really bother me because we're not relating to each other in that way. We're just people walking down the street. So I'm sure I probably run into all kinds of Christians throughout the day. I don't take it as some kind of a sign.
I would ask him questions like, how does this Jesus come inside of you?
What was that question?
I would ask him questions like, how does this Jesus come inside of you?
I thought that was... this is exactly the right video to kind of explain that to you, Yasmeen. I'll send you an email about that one.
What does it mean? That you mean another man comes inside of you?
Yasmeen, we talked about this. I'll explain it to you. I'll send you an email about this whole thing. Okay?
What does this born again mean? What does saved mean? So I would ask questions, and even though I didn't understand them, I would still learn.
Doesn't sound like the occult was really something that interests you. It sounds like you had an other direction that you wanted to take your life in, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see, I think that that's one of the reasons why we are so lucky today, because there's all kinds of different religions that you can choose from. You could choose no religion if you want. You could choose this religion, you could choose that religion. You could try this and try that and see what fits for you. If you try the occult and it just doesn't work for you, and it sounds like Christianity is what really draws you, I think you just should become a Christian and let Jesus come inside of you.
At home, her boyfriend became violent. Yasmeen was also having vivid nightmares that kept her up at night.
Just to be clear, I just want people to understand who are watching this video that just because this guy followed the occult and was into witchcraft does not automatically mean that everybody who follows the occult and is into witchcraft becomes abusive. There are people out there who are assholes who do become abusive, but they can be any particular faith, religion, or belief.
During this time, another Christian friend gave her a message.
Another one. Oh, it's almost as if they're like the dominant religion.
She said that the man that I was living with was going to kill me if I didn't leave, and that the Spirit of the Lord told her that I must leave him immediately. When she spoke to me, I just started crying. It broke something in me, and I knew it was God, even though I didn't know God. So I packed all my bags, and I told my mom that I was moving to North Carolina.
She moved in with her brother, who invited her to church.
I walked into that church, and when the worship started, I began to weep and weep and weep uncontrollably during worship and singing songs, and I had no idea what was happening to me. And I felt how much God loved me and he didn't hate me for all the things that I was doing in my past and all the abominations that I was practicing, and how much he wanted to reach out to me and be a father to me.
After going to church for a while, she made a decision.
And I looked up into heaven and I said, Jesus, I'm a sinner. I believe what people have said about you, that you're the Son of God, that you died on the cross for me and you died for my sins. I said, please forgive me and come inside of me and live in me.
Yasmeen, I really think after watching this video that you are a Christian. You're not somebody who should be studying witchcraft. That's just my own opinion. I think you should let God and Jesus come inside of you
And be the Lord and Savior of my life.
The change was almost instantaneous.
The next morning, all my bad dreams were gone. My torment was gone. Everything was gone. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, the weight of sin, the weight of deception. And I felt like I was alive for the first time in my life. I had a big bonfire and I burned everything that I had, even the music, the books that I had, the objects that I had all over my walls, the pictures, the clothes, the jewelry. I had to break everything in my life and break those chains over my life.
Yasmeen's life was on a new path.
It was really a pretty awesome walk with the Lord. I was thankful to the Lord for just opening my eyes so I could see. Instead of teaching people about the New Age, the Lord had me telling people how dangerous the New Age is.
There's a lot of different variances between New Age and the occult and witchcraft and magic. And I noticed that people kind of lump all these things in together, and if that's what you're into, that's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, nothing wrong with that. But there are differences. There are people who study one type of a New Age thing who would not consider doing some things that witchcraft and occultists do. And it's the same thing. There are some people who study witchcraft and study magic, study the occult, who don't necessarily do a lot of the New Agey things. I happen to be one of those people. I don't really practice a lot of quote-unquote New Age stuff, but I do practice a lot of magic and occultism, and I stick pretty true to that. And there's nothing wrong, again, with the New Age side of it. It's just that these are various different things, and some people are drawn to one more than the other.
She always loved to sing, and as she developed her voice, she knew it was a gift from God.
Come to Jesus, come home.
I love music because music is such a way that God speaks to our spirit.
Yes, music is a beautiful thing. And of all of the sins, I've never heard anyone associate any type of music with sin or the devil.
And God says that he inhabits the praises of his people. I see so many people, whether it's in the church or out of the church, that are so lonely and they're hurting and they're desperate. Jesus is the only one that can fill that void. The Lord really spared me from death, not just spiritual death, but physical death and emotional death. I could have lost my mind. I could have been eternally separated from God. So I thank God for his mercy and his love, that he loved me when I had nothing to offer him.
So this has been my video response to Testimony of the Occult. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to stalk me on social media, you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter. If you'd like to support my madness, become a Patreon supporter. All of my Patreons have access to my videos 3 days before I release them on YouTube, and you can watch them completely ad-free. This has been Loken, dispelling the bullshit one video at a time. Thank you, and blessed be. Hello, my friends. So this is a video that is called The Occult. Hello, my friends. So this is a video called... Hello, my friends. So I'm going to do a video response to Testimony